The air over and above the vast concrete river trembled with the warmth of Montauk's body alone. It was incredible how he felt his temperature could cause the whole immediate world to vibrate. He was a phosphorescent target, he knew it, he felt it. And now he must begin his little walk. 3 blocks away a few headlights glared. Montauk drew a deep breath. His lungs were like burning brooms in his chest. His mouth was sucked dry from running. His throat tasted of bloody iron and there was rusted steel in his feet. What about those lights there? Once you started walking, you'd have to gauge how fast those beetles could make it down here. Well, how far was it to the other curb? It seemed like 100 yards. Probably not 100, but figure for that anyway, figure that with him going very slowly, at a nice stroll, it might take as much as 30 seconds, 40 seconds to walk all the way. The beetles? Once started, they could leave 3 blocks behind them in about 15 seconds. So, even if halfway across he started to run? He put his right foot out and then his left foot and then his right. He walked on the empty avenue. Even if the street were entirely empty, of course, you couldn't be sure of a safe crossing, for a car could appear suddenly over the rise 4 blocks further on and be on and past you before you had taken a dozen breaths. He decided not to count his steps. He looked neither to left nor right. The light from the overhead lamp seemed as bright and revealing as the midday sun and just as hot. He listened to the sound of the car picking up speed 2 blocks away on his right. Its movable headlights jerked back and forth suddenly, and caught at Montauk. Keep going. Montauk faltered, got a grip on the books, and forced himself not to freeze. Instinctively he took a few quick, running steps, then talked out loud to himself and pulled up to stroll again. He was now half across the street, but the roar from the beetle's engines whined higher as it put on speed. The police, of course. They see me. But slow now, slow, quiet, don't turn, don't look, don't seem concerned. Walk, that's it, Walls, walk. The beetle was rushing. The beetle was roaring. The beetle raised its speed. The beetle was whining. The beetle was in high thunder. The beetle came skimming. The beetle came in a single whistling trajectory, fired from an invisible rifle. It was up to 120 miles per hour. It was up to 130 at least. Montauk clamped his jaws. The heat of the racing headlights burnt his cheeks, it seemed, and jittered his eyelids and flushed the sour sweat out all over his body. He began to shuffle idiotically and talk to himself, and then he broke and just ran. He put out his legs as far as they would go and down and then far out again and down and back and out and down and back. God! God! He dropped a book, broke pace, almost turned, changed his mind, plunged on, yelling in concrete emptiness, the beetle scuttling after its running food, 200, 100 feet away, 90, 80, 70, Montauk gasping, flailing his hands, legs up down out, closer, closer, hooting, calling, his eyes burnt white now as his head jerked about to confront the flashing glare. Now the beetle was swallowed in its own light, now it was nothing but a torch hurtling upon him, all sound, all blare. Now almost on top of him. He stumbled and fell. I'm done. It's over. But the falling made a difference. An instant before reaching him, the wild beetle cut and swerved out. It was gone. Montauk lay flat, his head down. Wisps of laughter trailed back to him with the blue exhaust from the beetle. His right hand was extended above him, flat. Across the extreme tip of his middle finger, he saw now as he lifted that hand, a faint 1/16 of an inch of black tread where tire had touched in passing. He looked at that black line with disbelief, getting to his feet. That wasn't the police, he thought. He looked down the boulevard. It was clear now. A car full of children, all ages, God knew, from 12 to 16, out 124 Fahrenheit 451 whistling, yelling, hurrahing, had seen a man, a very extraordinary sight, a man strolling, a rarity, and simply said, "Let's get him," not knowing he was the fugitive Mr. Montauk, simply a number of children out for a long night of roaring 500 or 600 miles in a few moonlit hours, their faces icy with wind, and coming home or not coming at dawn, alive or not alive, that made the adventure. They would have killed me, thought Montauk, swaying, the air still torn and stirring about him in dust, touching his bruised cheek. For no reason at all in the world they would have killed me. He walked toward the far curb telling each foot to go and keep going.